All right. Well, this week we've got the famous, I don't want to use infamous, but the famous Danny Giannone, who goes back a long time from the Quill days to basically the top of the rankings on AT&T now, and just got promoted or hit the numbers. You haven't officially been on stage yet, but you're now an org consultant.
Yeah, yeah, exciting.
All right. Well, we're going to jump into this. So give us your story. How long have you been in the business? Just sort of start off with like just a little bit of history, bring us up to speed, and then I've got a few questions lined up for you.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want me to start like kind of the background before the business at all, or just
Yeah, that'd be
cool?
great.
Awesome. So, I'm from a suburb of Chicago. It's called Rosemont, Illinois. It's pretty big for like business, but in terms of like people who actually live there, it's very, very small. Like all my friends growing up, my three best friends from back home that are standing in my wedding in November are still there, still working for the city, just doing the same thing that they did when I left. But grew up there. My life kind of came crumbling down around me when I was about 18, 19 years old. I was a hockey player. I was supposed to go play some junior hockey. Ended up tearing my left labrum in a hockey game. It was actually the state championship game that we won, but ended up tearing my left shoulder, and I kind of got sat down and was told, like, if you want to play competitively, you're going to have surgery and rehab and then get after it, or you're going to have to, hang them up and get into work and get into school. And I don't know how familiar, I'm sure Jamie's pretty familiar with hockey, just being from Canada, but hockey is kind of weird. It works the opposite of a lot of other sports in the way that like kids will go to college, get drafted out of college, and then, play in the pros. Most kids actually like go to play junior hockey up in Canada, go play juniors around America, get drafted from there. If they don't get drafted from junior hockey, then they go to school. And they don't finish college a lot of times till late, like mid to late 20s, and then trying to start their career with a bunch of student loans. And after my injury, that was going to be a very difficult to do. So that was like the first reason I stopped playing hockey. Second reason, my mom and my stepdad got a divorce. My stepdad was the breadwinner of the family, and I wanted to get into work, get into school, help my mom keep a roof over our heads. So my mom was working like three jobs to keep a roof over our heads. I was going to school full time, working in a warehouse full time, and then working at a gym part time. I had a mentor at the gym. He was actually my kindergarten teacher too. He worked at the gym, kindergarten teacher, and started a line of grocery stores. Just kind of how it is in a small town. You kind of do everything. Um, and he told me to get into sales and marketing. He's like, dude, you're competitive, you're a hard worker, get into sales and marketing. Every business operates around sales. I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. Started interviewing around places. Started with Mike Layfeld up in Chicago. He also just got promoted to organizational consultant. Um, Started Mike's office. I'm not that storybook person that's really good at sales at first. I was terrible at sales. I was like, when I say I was bad at sales, like I was really bad at sales. Really, really bad. Okay. Then I got it. I realized it's just riding a bike. Once I got on that bike, that's all she wrote. Set a lot of records on Quill. Ended up moving down to Cincinnati, Ohio with a moving crew. Moved down to Cincinnati, Ohio, built a team down there. Uh, as a part of a moving crew, got promoted, opened up my first office, St. Louis, Missouri, promoted out three offices on in St. Louis on Quill, switched to UMA. Switched to UMA, tried to help build that campaign. I actually did. I built that up to like 8, 9 offices nationwide. It was really cool. Promoted out Buck on UMA. I moved to Louisville, Kentucky. Was there in Louisville, Kentucky for about a year. About promoted out another office on UMA, and then promoted out JB on Verizon. Moved down to Atlanta. Was doing UMA down here in Atlanta. And then I was just golfing one day, and Steve Yeager gave me a call. He was like, "Hey, man, the uh, the Atlanta AT&T market is not doing too hot right now, and we're losing leads to like Smart Circle, Credit Cove, like other client brokers. Like, would you be interested in running an AT&T office?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll give it a go." And I moved like one or two people over, and I just saw the potential that AT&T Res had. And I was like, all right, I got to move everybody over. Like, this is crazy. Moved everybody over, and here we are, promoted out. I mean, Kevin came down here and helped me. I did not grow this on my own. Kevin is such influential person. Promoted Kevin out onto AT&T Res, and he's like in the other room right now. He's my partner. Promoted Kev out of AT&T Res. Promoted Lily, Kaylee. Oh, I got their pictures handle. Lily, Kaylee, JB, all out on AT&T Res. So now we're at like 11 offices, and we just had a record in org production. A new record. We cracked 200,000 in org production, and just super proud of them. That's where we're at today.
That's amazing, Dan. When did you start, Danny? What year?
2014. I started in 2014.
2014.
Yeah, and like it took me the best part like that. One thing that I love is how long it took me to get to ownership. I learned so many lessons as a rep in the field, but it took me 3 years to get promoted to ownership. So I've been running my office now for about 7 years.
Nice. And I like the hockey stick behind you there. Very
That was
nice.
mine. Yeah. You want to see my helmet?
Sure.
There she is. Look at that. How much more Chicago can you get?
Wow.
I think it's sweet, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's awesome. So a couple things to unpack. So when I hear you, this isn't the first time I've heard you say you weren't good at sales. I have a hard time believing that, Danny, just because you're just naturally really likable.
Uh-huh.
So maybe you're missing some like closing skills, but as far as like just your personality, like if you knocked on my door, I mean, I'd give you a shot. So where did you struggle exactly?
Confidence, like just being from where like the small town I'm from, the only people like that we besides hockey, like you just didn't venture out of the town. Like it's a population of 2,000, and our elementary school was in the middle of the town, and it's elementary through eighth grade. So like my graduating class from eighth grade was 15 people.
Hmm.
Like so yeah, so it's just like talking to random people was new, like was extremely new to me. It's funny. I did a conference call for an office this morning, and like we in our org we use this system to overcome objections called AIR, Acknowledge, Impulse, Resume. Like my system that I created on my own was called AL, and you just accept and leave when somebody gave you an objection. You accept that puppy and you leave. Like, hey man, I'm too busy. I got it. I'll be back later, right? And I think that I needed to realize that it's all about confidence. It's all about believing in yourself. People buy from me if I follow the system. They're not buying from Quill, or they're not buying from AT&T. And then once I created that self-belief, and I realized that the field isn't inconsistent. I'm the inconsistency in the field. If I bring that confidence, that attitude, that system each day. And then after that, that's all she wrote. It was very easy for me to ride that bike every day after that.
Hmm. I like that acronym, AL, accept and leave. First objection, you're like, okay, nice talking to you, ma'am.
Yeah, that's
What didn't really mean no, come back here, young man. It's like,
fine.
interesting. Um, and I remember, I remember right when you started UMA, because the way the structure of the Quill campaign was with the genius of Bobby Park, right? He put this big bounty on the line. If you're the number one office, you get a $3,000 bonus per week. And
Yeah.
you held that number one spot. You were pole position for a very long time, right? So you're
Yeah.
getting a $156,000 per year bonus for doing what you like. Again, it's on top of everything you're already doing. And I
Yeah.
just remember when you made the decision to go to UMA, and I was like, Danny, are you making the right choice here? Like you're leaving a lot on the table. And your attitude, at least my perception of how you were framing it, was like, well, listen, Jamie, I got to take some gambles, I feel confident. I know what I'm doing. So sure, I'm leaving that behind, but I'm ready to explore and conquer some new campaigns. Like you were all about it. Like you weren't trying to hang on to first base when you had an opportunity to steal second base. Like you're kind of a risk. Would it be fair to say you're a risk taker? Like you're willing to roll the dice?
Yeah, I think I'm a risk taker, but I definitely don't like. I'm not dumb with it. I think that in that position, like and to this day, like I want to do something bigger than myself. I want to leave a legacy. I think that's what really, really motivates me and like gets me hungry to do things. Like even right now, right? Like so, I just got my wire on AT&T Res, and I just promoted out. So this is my first wire after being promoting out, and it's still a $70,000 wire, right? But I want to leave a legacy. Like AT&T Res was already figured out when I got here. Like I'm just like I'm painting by numbers over here. Like it's like, all right, I went and I visited Hageman, and I'm like, all right, Hags, what do I got to do? Danny, go do this, right? So like that somebody else built that for me. Probably Brandy Park, Hageman, all these people built that for me. It's cool. I want to do that for other people. Like I want to be able to be like you, Jamie, like where you look back and you're like, this is what I did, and all of these people have this opportunity because I did the groundwork. Like I want to be able to sit back and look at that one day. So like I still do. I still do take risks. Like right now I'm working with a client called Simply Safe. And I want to build that out. Like I want to be able to build that out for people so that there's more opportunity for the next generation of people that built out Quill and built out AT&T for like a 21-year-old Danny who walked in one day and was like, this is how I could take care of my family. Like that's just that's what gets me going. Like think about that. Like, how big is the security industry? It's massive. And like, as a team and an organization with our client broker, we don't, it's so untapped. We have to. Some people are already doing it. Somebody's going to have to do it. So if I could be the one to figure it out and give back to this next wave of people, like that'd be just so cool to look back at one day and say, I don't think I get excited about the risk. I get excited about, or like, I get excited about the legacy I get to leave and giving back to the next generation.
Hmm. That's awesome. That's awesome too. I mean, a lot of people I think gravitate to like, hey, it's already been figured out. Let me just build an organization. But you want to do both. You want to build an organization and you want to figure out a whole new industry, a whole new game. And we need more people like you in our business, Danny. So, and interesting to hear you just promoted out and you went down to a $70,000 wire. Like that really sucks, Danny, huh?
Yeah, and I'm so proud of Gabe. His first week, he did a $19,000 wire.
His
So
first
awesome.
week as an owner, 19 grand.
Yeah, I'm so proud of him. He was 2,000 away from breaking the AT&T record. The AT&T res record was 21K. 2,000. I was like, damn. But it's still
But
so proud of him.
And I saw you at head office a week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, and like you looks like you stacked his deck. Like when you set him up, he went with like 12 guys. Does that sound right? 10 guys?
9. Yeah,
9
9.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good job. Great to see what you're doing. So I asked you, like, hey, what's really working if you had to, I ask everybody that question, like what's really working for you? Like what do you believe your biggest strengths are? And without hesitation, you said discipline and relationships. You want to expand on that a little bit?
Um, in terms of professionally, I might be one of the most disciplined people you'll ever meet. Like I pretty much keep the exact same rookie schedule that I kept when I opened up my office. Like literally, it's like almost the exact same to a T. For a couple reasons. Number one, I know it works. Like Mike was like Bruinger was messing with me when we went to Scotland because I'm buying like a really expensive house, and he's like, Danny, are you good with your money? I'm like, yeah, I'm good with my money, bro. And like Leifeld made a joke. He's like, he's only been non-profitable 1 week in his entire career. Like he knows what he's doing, bro. But anyways, point is like I do the exact same thing because I know it works. So like I'm just and I don't deviate from it. So like my schedule right now, even as a consultant, is like I on Mondays I'm running my in-house, right? I'm running my in-house with my new employees. Get like I'm treating them special. I'm making an experience. They come in, they eat lunch with me. We do all this stuff together. And then I have my entire org jumps on a call and we just sit there and we just work with each other and get better and develop our owners. Then Tuesday, Wednesday are my days in the field. So I go to the field Tuesday, Wednesday still, and I hit $1,000 as a leader in the field. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are my conference call days. So like when Jamie asked for a conference call, I was all in. Thursday's that day. I've been on nonstop back-to-back conference calls the entire day. Friday, I'm back in the field with one of my top guys again. So I just don't change that schedule. So number one, I'm disciplined to that. And then also it's not just about that I know that it works. It's that I can now show my rookie owners what it takes to be successful. Not what Danny does to be successful, which like I don't really need to go to the field or anything like that anymore, but what they have to do to be successful. And I enjoy being that example to my rookie owners. And then in terms of relationships, like I just like I don't know. I really, really enjoy being able to take somebody like, like Kevin, and like now he's the best man in my wedding. Like, you know what I mean? Like I enjoy being like, brother and sister with my outside deals. Like my guys in my office, like if Layfeld could change, if I could change one person's life the way that Layfeld changed mine, man, like I can, die a happy man. Like, and I think that's important when I look at the relationships in my office, and I take it extremely serious. So those are the two things that really stick out in my mind of why I'm so successful is because like people know I'm genuine. They know that like this guy wants what's best for me, and like then my actions show it.
Hmm. Huh. So you might be one of the most disciplined people we'll come across. Is that
Professionally.
prof- professionally? In your personal life, maybe not as much?
No, I am disciplined personally. I wish I was better personally. And I'm getting back on my diet. Like I feel like sometimes I get like so caught up in my professional discipline that my personal slips because like then I'm working and then I get off and I'm too tired. Oh, I make that excuse. I'm too tired to go to the gym or something like that. But like, man, oh man, I'm professionally disciplined.
Hmm. I mean, Justin Hageman said that you are, I mean, this means a lot. I mean, I look at Hageman like, his work ethic, he's on point. I mean, he's the kind of guy when Salesforce was when we are kind of rolling that out, he's the guy up till 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, geeking out with everything that Salesforce had to offer. And he said that, you're the hardest working owner in the company. And so you just credit that to discipline, or is like discipline, hard work? Are they two of the same? I mean, any thoughts there?
It's a great question. I definitely credit hard work to discipline. I also credit it. I think I also credit it to my background. I think that people who come from I think that a lot of the times like people who have a tough background like I do, I think we have a leg up. I really do. I think I'm very fortunate to know that I'm not owed anything. Like I don't look at it like, I'm an owner, I'm owed this or I'm owed that. Like I'm just so appreciative and grateful that I will never lose it. Like I'm not letting this go. I think I'm very, very fortunate that like when my parents got a divorce, like growing up in a small town, and my dad was the breadwinner, or my stepdad was the breadwinner, like we lost our house, to bankruptcy, and like growing up in a small town, like that's tough. Everybody knows, you know what I mean? So like I'm fortunate to know that like you could have everything and you could lose everything. Like if you don't keep working, you could lose everything. And I'm just not willing to ever lose everything like we did. Like I'm not willing for my family to lose everything one day like I did as a kid. So I think discipline, I think my background, and like I just love shining my light on others. I think people are watching even when we don't realize it as owners. Like your people are watching no matter what. So like what example are you setting? And I want to set the I want to go to bed at night, put my head on the pillow, knowing that I set the best possible example for somebody that was watching when I didn't even know it. And that's what I try to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Danny. Um, yeah, that must have been humbling, like losing. How old were you when you lost your home?
18. So I was 18. My mom moved out of school district. So I had a chance. It's either like I go at 18 and start my senior year at a new school with no friends or anything, or I stay and I live with my stepdad, which obviously like isn't gonna go smooth when you're 18 and he's your stepdad and now he's dating other people. Like it just doesn't go smooth. You know what I mean? So that's what I had to do to finish school in the same district, and it was tough, But I'm
Mm,
I'm I'm very very fortunate that that happened to me because it taught me a lot of
mm,
valuable lessons.
mm. That's where a lot of your fire probably came from, huh?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah, that'll leave I mean, that'll follow you everywhere. That'll serve you well as it has. I mean, that's your fire. I think I asked you at the promoting owners weekend, are you more positively driven or negatively driven? And you made a comment about seeing a homeless guy. I mean, unpack that a little bit for me.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought that up. Somebody just mentioned that to me today. They're like, "Hey, remember when you said this to me like a year ago?" And I was like, Yeah, I do. Because I talk about it a lot. Like one of the most motivating things to me in the world is like driving by like somebody who's homeless. Like it really is. Like it's like, man, like that could be me. You know, like I feel like I ran a leaders meeting on victim versus victor mentality the other day for my leaders. And one of the things is just like victors pull gratitude and appreciation out of everything. Like that's what victors do. Victims blame others for why they aren't where they're at. And like to unpack that, like guys, like we like that could be us, right? Like driving behind that homeless person, like that could be us. Like we are so fortunate. Like when I go to a grocery store, right? Like has anybody had like a rude checkout clerk like at the grocery store? No, I'm talking about like they might be rude or something. Like I pull gratitude from that person. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I literally do. Like they don't want to like be a checkout clerk. That's why they're upset. Like, or there's something going on at home that I don't even know about. Like, you know what I mean? And I pull gratitude from that. Like that could be me. Before this, like this is like if we rewound this, right? Like if we rewound my life and you guys looked at my life, there's no way you'd bet that I'm at where I'm at. And I'm like, I literally will drive in. I'm gonna sound like a baby right now, but I'll literally drive into the office sometimes and like through Atlanta, like look at my office. Like, I don't know if you guys see my office. Like it's freaking gorgeous. That's where Dorfman's at, BT Dubs, right there. But I drive into the office and I'll like tear up out of just gratitude because you rewind my life 10 years. I'm sleeping on my mom's couch in a 1 bedroom apartment after I graduated high school because I couldn't live with my stepdad anymore. And you know, like I was working in a warehouse full time and going to school, like not knowing what's gonna happen, being like, man, I like thinking in my head, man, I'm worth more than $400 a week driving this fucking forklift. Like that's what I'm thinking in my head. And like here we are now, and like I'm a consultant and I am pacing for almost $3 million. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. Like so, like I'm just so grateful for the opportunity and appreciative for the opportunity that we have. That like I refuse to lose it. I refuse to lose it, and I'm not going to stop working, and I'm not going to stop improving, and I'm not going to stop changing people's lives because of that. So like that's like the homeless person story and where I pull gratitude from. It's just everywhere. I feel like we can pull gratitude everywhere we look.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's kind of like similar story to, I'm sure you know this, the Rock, his production company is called $7 because, that was his low. His net worth was $7, and it wasn't that long ago. And that's his motivation. He's like, I know what it's like having nothing, and I had to climb my way out of this pit,
Yeah.
from the $7, low.
Well, it's funny that you say that because if I was doing this conference call at my house, Layfeld, for Christmas, he bought me this giant, like wooden, like it's really nice, it's like a wooden, like burned sign. And it's literally a Rock quote. It literally says, success is never owned, it's only rented, and rent is due every day. And he
Hmm,
bought me that because like that's kind of how I live.
hmm, nice. I know we're almost at time, but I do want to touch on this. You said your three core values, right? And then you said this is what makes me me, and I believe that to be true. When people really figure out their core values, well, that's who you are.
Yeah.
Um, Core values: winning. You said this is where my discipline comes from. Family. Not shocked to hear that when you talked about relationships. I don't do friends, I do family. And health. I
Mhm.
need to take care of myself to be the best version of myself to make the impact on people. So anything you want to say about those values? I mean, how long did it take you to figure out your core values? Maybe that's a good place to start.
Well, I figured out my core values right after I moved from St. Louis to Louisville. So like during that little COVID period, you ran that 7 habits. I don't know if you remember me reaching out to you, asking you for that YouTube, like if you could send me your YouTube videos. And I literally like just like studied that book and studied those videos.
Hmm.
And it was right after my grandpa passed away. My grandpa passed away. My grandpa was a massive, massive mentor to me. And my grandpa passed away. And Kevin's like, you need to read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You need to watch these videos. I was like, all right, I'm in. And it made me realize because like I felt like I could have been a better grandson to my grandpa because of the fact that I didn't prioritize our relationship and make that a big rock as you talk about in the 7 Habits videos. So I sat down, I bought the values cards,
Hmm. That's awesome. That's
bought the
awesome.
values cards I went on, there's also a Think to Perform website where you can use those. Think to Perform has a bunch of values cards if you don't want to buy the values cards. And I just sat there and I did what you said in the videos. I was like, all right, like here it is, like, and I just, narrowed it down to 25, narrowed it down to 10, narrowed it down to 5, narrowed it down to 3. Just
I
right in order.
got, I got my values cards right here. We got the same pack, it looks like, huh?
It does. Yeah, we do have the same pack, right? And then and I just narrowed it down. And like, then it life becomes easier when you live your life by your values, and it becomes more fulfilling, right? Like, so like I love winning. Like I love winning in business. I love winning in life. I love winning in my relationship with my fiance. Like I look at like where can I get the small wins in each one of like each area of my life, and I plan my life that way. And what I view as wins. I think like what I view as wins might be different as somebody else views as wins, but winning is a core value. And if I feel like I'm winning, then I'm happy. Like I don't do like I said, I don't do friends, I do family. Like these guys in my office literally talk to me like they're like, it's crazy like how genuine you make me feel like when I'm with you and things like that. I was like, it's because I care about you. And like I said, like health is a value of mine. Like here, I'll show you guys like look at this. Like these are my vitamins. Like I'm on top of it, man. I'm on top of it. All right. Like I just think it's important. Like I read a interesting study the other day. There's more people in America that are on a prescription pill than there is on a multivitamin. That's fucking wild,
Hmm.
right? Like how many multivitamins do you like? How many diseases do you think maybe multivitamin might prevent? Like who knows? It's just interesting to think about. And Kevin says this all the time, and man, it hits me. And Kevin's usually right a lot of times, and it's frustrating, but I love him for it. But like he said, he has this great saying, and I don't know where he got it from, but he says, "You'll make time for health now, or you'll be forced to make time for sickness later." And if I'm sick later on, I'm not going to be able to make the impact on the people that I want to make, or be able to perform the way that I want to perform, and have the relations that I want to have, and win the way that I want to win. So health is a value of mine that I stay on top of. But
Hmm.
I hope that answers your question, Jamie. I went on a little rant there.
Well, I mean, music to my ears, Danny. I mean, when I remember making those videos, I'm like, I'm hoping people listen. And it was during COVID, so like, hey, we're all
Yeah.
sitting at home anyway. Let's do something productive with our time. And so you took that time to really narrow it down to three. I mean, what a tough exercise, right? Like, who is Danny Giannone here?
Yeah.
And know thyself. And once you really embrace that, man, you just shot like a rocket.
Well, and I think that what's one of my favorite books is called like Launching a Leadership Revolution. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it. It's a great book. I'd give it a read if you haven't. And I think I think that it's our duty to pay it back. And like when Jamie changed my life with those videos, like I then literally did that and did that exercise with like 3 or 4 of my top guys, and like literally sat down and I was doing my best to be the Jamie for them. Like, and guess what? 3 out of 4 of them are owners now.
Hmm,
3 out of 4. Isn't that crazy?
hmm.
Pretty fucking cool. So like, and that's what like launching like Jamie literally created a leadership revolution, like, and had no idea that it was going on until now.
Well, I mean, I can't take the credit for it. It was Stephen Covey that did that. I was
Yeah,
just,
right. Look at
I
him.
was a student, you know. Well, that's awesome, Danny. I mean, you're such a great example in the business, and again, just full of heart. I mean, you got so much heart, and I mean, I won't hold it against you that you're a Chicago Blackhawks fan. I mean, you're outside of that, you're a really good guy, and I wish you nothing but the best. But yeah, thank you for spending some time with us here. I hope to get you on another call sometime soon.
Yeah, of course, whenever you want. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you having me. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you,
Bye, guys.
Danny. See you soon.
See ya.